All right, hi guys. We're back in my car. We're in my car because I'm not home when it's light outside and this is the only place that I have to myself. So this video is going to be about boobs during pregnancy and after pregnancy for breastfeeding. I still don't know everything, but I know what I've been through. So I feel like this is something else that could be a little bit informational and I can be useful. I wouldn't even say it's like a misconception because I know it happens for some people, but my boobs didn't really grow while I was pregnant. I take that back, maybe they did. Okay, so actually I don't really know that part of that information. Okay, so we'll just talk about the size that they are, or they were. They were like double D's, but I also feel like that wasn't actually accurate because I definitely never bought a bra that was double D's. The only reason I say that it's double D's is because every time I went to Victoria's Secret and got measured, that's what they would say. So that's the actual only size that I know. But I will tell you, right before I actually found out that I was pregnant, I went to go buy a bra somewhere and a C fit. I never had to buy bigger bras during my pregnancy and I don't have to buy bigger bras now. I would say I'm definitely like a C. My boobs didn't really change. I think they might have looked a little bit bigger and maybe fuller in regards to after I gave birth and I was breastfeeding. But again, size-wise, like having to go up in a bra size, that hasn't happened. So another reason that I don't actually know if they got bigger is because I do just wear bralettes. That's really about it. Actual bras got really uncomfortable for me being pregnant just because like the top part of my body is obviously expanding, so they were getting super tight, like the buckle part of it. But again, cup size, it didn't really change. But yeah, bralettes were just more comfortable for me, and I think all my bralettes were like in the size medium. So again, I didn't have to go up in a size with bralettes or anything like that either. In regards to breastfeeding and like my milk coming in, I never leaked early. I know some people actually leak early before they have even given birth, but I never did. My boobs never felt full. I never felt like there was any milk inside of them before I actually produced any, which was concerning because I really wanted to breastfeed. And so I was getting really discouraged when I felt like I wasn't feeling anything going on. Even right after I had given birth, I didn't feel anything go on for like 1 or 2 days, but he was eating. So I wasn't really that concerned about it. So if you don't feel anything going on while you're pregnant, then it's fine. It literally does not mean anything. You're not actually supposed to produce anything before pregnancy. It happens, and it doesn't mean anything bad when it happens, but just because it's not happening doesn't mean that your milk won't come. I gave birth. As soon as I gave birth, he started breastfeeding because they wanted him to figure out the whole latching situation. He latched well, and it was just the, sorry if this is gross, but like the super yellow substance. It wasn't actually milk. It was just the stuff that's like super healthy for them to have straight out the womb. But my milk did come 2 days after that, maybe 2 or 3 days after that, and it was painful. It was painful in the sense that I had to pump it all out, and pumping was painful. Obviously your body's not used to that. Obviously there is a machine or a child like sucking all this milk out of your body that you're not used to. So yes, your nipples do get sore. Yes, mine scabbed a little bit, but they healed fine. Like the scabbing I thought was gonna like stay there forever. There were gonna be scars. It was gonna look disgusting. I don't even know where my scabs were at anymore. I had I don't know what kind of cream it was. I'll just find a picture and put it right here. I used that cream when I felt like I needed to. I didn't use it all the time. Yeah, the first few times that I pumped, like for the first few weeks, it was super painful and I didn't want to do it. Then after I did it for a while, I didn't really mind it anymore. In fact, I was like, oh, I'll just do it on my free time because I'm pumping, and you know, when you're pumping, you're losing all this weight. So I was just like doing it constantly, would pump 4 ounces, package it up, put it in the freezer. It comes in, and in the very beginning is when you probably are going to produce your most amount of milk, if that makes any sense. I do know a mom that, you know, her son is almost like Liam's age, maybe a few months younger, who just started producing a lot of milk. So just because you don't produce a lot in the beginning doesn't mean you won't eventually. But in my case, I produced the most in the very beginning, so that's why I decided to store it all up then. While my production is coming in, and it's coming in very hot, I had to pump in the night, which, you know, is a little bit inconvenient, but you know, you don't get to pick and choose anymore. I actually pumped probably every time that Liam woke up to eat, just because me producing milk every 3 hours was comfortable. I felt like if I waited any longer, then I would be leaking everywhere, and if I did it too early, then I would just be hurting myself. It would just be painful. But you know, you pumping in the night, the more you pump, the more you produce. So that helped a lot. But now obviously, you know, he's 6 months old. I don't have to do that anymore. It's kind of regulated itself, which we'll get into later as well. With breastfeeding comes milk clots. You're gonna get that regardless. Even if you don't want to breastfeed, it's gonna be super painful when you give birth and you have a milk supply coming in, but you don't want to use it. You're gonna have to make it stop. I obviously breastfeed, but I still get milk clots. I'm not the person to ask about what milk clots actually are. I just know that they're super painful and you can feel them. And the ways that you can get them out are massaging them out, hot water. There's like a handheld pump that you can squeeze and it will get it out eventually. I actually have those heating, oh, I thought I had some in here. The hand warmers, little packets. My best friend Kaylee told me about it, and you just take it, shake it so that it heats up, put it in your bra, and yeah, I've had it in there all day because I have a milk clot. I would say, you know, some people say they're super painful. To me, they're not that painful. I just feel them and it's like uncomfortable and it's unwanted, obviously. I'm not in pain right now, but I obviously do want to get it out. I need to start the car because I'm very hot. So sorry if you can hear the air. I actually don't breastfeed anymore. I just strictly pump because he could latch and he would latch, but it did start getting to the point where trying to stick a boob in a child's mouth that's moving around like crazy is way harder to do than just giving him a bottle. I strictly just do bottles now, so I pump and put it in a bottle and then he'll just take it from the bottle. So he can still latch if I wanted him to, and if I did want to start breastfeeding, I'm sure that I could, but it's just easier. And you know, now he's at 6 months old, so now there's kind of no point of me going back because I do want him to learn how to hold his bottles. I just realized that that music was on the whole time. I'm so sorry. But I'm not re-saying that because I don't know where I started. In regards to breastfeeding and pumping, it was super, super, super uncomfortable, as I've said, and it wasn't comfortable for like 3 months. I would be like engorged all the time if I wasn't pumping. I had to pump very frequently, as I've said, but after like 3 months, it regulated itself and it's not painful anymore. And it was so weird because you know, people were asking me like, oh, are you gonna breastfeed? I would tell them yes, and they would be like, okay, don't give up. And I was like, what am I giving up on? Like, I'm breastfeeding, I'm not running a race. Like, you don't have to tell me not to give up. Like, obviously I'm just gonna breastfeed. But I know people that just like stopped breastfeeding after like their baby being 2 months old because they just couldn't do it anymore. If it's because you are like in pain, I really would say not to give up because it does regulate itself. It does go away. Mine, I don't know if I regulated fast or slow. I don't know. This is my first child, obviously, so I'm really not sure how that goes. I regulated and it's fine now, and I really do plan on pumping or breastfeeding for at least a year. So I would just say, like, really don't give up. It's going to be painful. It's going to be hard, but doing that for 2 and 3 months is nothing compared to like everything that you've done. Sometimes it does take a hard toll on people. So, you know, if it's just not for you because mentally you can't do it anymore, then that's totally fine and that's totally like respected. Like, you do what works for you and don't listen to anybody else. When you do pump, sometimes people do dry up and then they just can't produce any anymore. I haven't dried up yet, but I am realizing I do pump less. So I don't know if that's just my body regulating and realizing that I don't need to pump out 12 ounces every time I pump. I can tell that I don't pump as much as I used to. When I first wake up, I pump a lot. I pump maybe like 10 ounces. And then when I pump around 9 or 10, I think I pumped like, today I only pumped like 3 ounces because I have this clot and it's just not coming out. But normally I pump like 5 ounces now every time I pump. So it's definitely gone down, but it's still there where I can make a supply out of it. But since, you know, I'm not pumping as much, I do have to use some of the stored milk that I have. To produce breast milk, a lot of things that you can do. There's powder supplements that I know you can get from Target, body armor, oatmeal apparently is really good, and then just really staying hydrated. The last thing I want to talk about is boob jobs and breastfeeding. I personally don't have a boob job. Do I want one after I'm done having my children? Yes. Am I gonna get one? Don't know. I have heard that if you have a boob job and like to make them bigger, I'm pretty sure that you can still produce because the milk, something about the milk ducts or something like that, when you get a boob job and you make them bigger, that the stuff that you put in your boobs doesn't interfere with the how the milk flows out. So you can still produce for the enlargement part. For if you've ever made your boobs smaller is what I'm not sure about. I know one person that have made their boobs smaller, like got a reduction, and they can't produce milk. So I don't know the science behind that, just like I don't know the science behind the enlargement of the boobs and how that works with the milk production. But yeah, I've only heard that if it's an enlargement you can produce, and if it's a reduction you can't produce. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have on your boobs after you're pregnant and breastfeeding. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And if you do like these videos about birth and labor and just how the body is after you've gone through all that stuff, leave a comment down below about anything else that you want to know about in regards to all that stuff. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye guys.